Assalamu alaikum everyone and welcome to this new session. This is about thematic analysis process which is used for analyzing qualitative data. So there are very simple 5 steps into doing the thematic analysis. It involves data reduction, which also involves coding. Step number 2 is themes development. Then we have themes reliability and validity. Number 4 is data display, and number 5 is data drawing and conclusion. So before I go ahead and explain each one of them individually, let me tell you that as a part of any other research, this video also has some kind of reference in the background, and this is the paper that I have actually taken all the information from. So those of you who are doing the qualitative analysis, you can also read this paper if you want, but then you can also just simply follow those processes that I have described from the thematic analysis process. So here we have different aspects, but then I have directly come to the thematic analysis steps or process. So all these steps are taken from this part of the paper. As you can see, everything is explained comprehensively. You can read it, you can take and use some of these references in your own data analysis method. Or data analysis chapter. Then we have data reduction. So even data reduction has been explained to you comprehensively, and then within this paper there are 3 steps into data reduction, but I do not want to go into the detail of that, so just consider it one, which is data reduction, and that's it. Then we have the themes reliability and validity that we have already discussed. I did tell you that what do we mean by qualitative studies reliability and validity. So you already know the definition and you already know the explanation. So all you have to do is just write it in your own words, and then take help from any one of these researchers. That way you will have some kind of support in the background of your data analysis. Then we have data display, and the last one is data drawing and conclusion. So as I told you, every single step that you're seeing on your screen is taken from this paper, so you can use those references in your own study as well. So let's come to the practical side now. So considering the data reduction, as the name suggests, it basically means that when you have your raw data, then you have to reduce it into a meaningful format. Now, what is the criteria for reducing or reduction of the data? So you have to keep in mind your research questions and objectives. So here, let me tell you that I have taken a form of interview sample from Google, just so I can use it to show you how you can do the coding, etc. So this is basically this question, or this answer is as a result of question which was asked, that what does um, motivate you to work hard? So this was the question, and here following is the answer that I got from Google. Now, speaking of coding, now let's talk about this. Here by coding we mean we are basically going to reduce this entire data into meaningful words. Let's see. So here from this sentence, what do you think you could pick from it? So this is one full sentence. Now look into the question that you have asked. You're basically asking the motive of some person who's doing or who's working hard. So you're basically trying to find out the reason why the person is working hard. So this is the full sentence of the person. So from here, what do I pick? I pick experience. This is one of the words that is motivating this person because she or he does have some kind of experience, and it's further motivating the person to go ahead and work much harder in order to gain more experience. Then we have service oriented professional. So because service oriented is not of concern, why? Because it could be some other professional behavior as well. But what we do seek here is the professional. So I would say professionalism. You can either write it professional or professionalism. You can play with the words. There's no problem as long as it doesn't change the meaning of the sentence. Okay, when more than a decade of experience, so already experience it has been covered in the first word, so no need to write it again. Then it says boutique salons. There is nothing to take from this word. That it doesn't have anything to do with the question, to be honest. Okay, so the person is striving to create a welcoming environment for all clients and providing highest quality skincare services. So high quality, I would say, should come in handy. High quality services. Then we have, yeah, so welcoming environment, or you can also call it friendly environment. Okay, so if you're wondering how does it have any link with the fact that the person is willing to work hard, is maybe you can say ability to create friendly environment. So let me first tell you that by coding we are not always referring to just one word. But if you think that all the words combined make something like ability to create friendly environment, it does show that this can be one of the reasons for the person working harder, and what is motivating them, because they do have the ability to create a friendly environment, which is important for a successful business. So from this particular sentence, if you see, these are some of the codes that I could generate over here. So similarly, look into the others. So my specialized training and strong interpersonal skills. So let's put interpersonal or strong interpersonal skills. That's another one. Okay, help me become adept at developing long-term trusted relationships. So let's call it to build a loyal client base. So let's call it trusted relationship, or you can call building a trusted relationship. Fine. Okay, then let's look into others. Okay, long term. Okay, some of my clients have been with me since the beginning, more than 10 years now. These relationships are the reason I'm excited to go to work every day. So then let's also, I would say, building trusted relationship. Then you can also say um maintaining loyal customers. Got it? So if you look into these, I have changed some of the wordings for some of these codes, but then it does not change the meaning of what has been said in the interview. So if you look into these, then you can safely say what are the qualities at the end. Even the person has ended the interview by saying that, these are some of the relationships. The reason for which I'm excited to work. So that means these are some of the qualities of the person herself or himself that is making it possible for them to actually work harder. So this was all about data reduction or coding. So if I give you practical example of your own, students who are doing their final project. So suppose if you're referring to the challenges of a particular set of people, suppose if you're talking about their challenges of, suppose, women entrepreneurs. So when you're actually reading this whole interview, you have to keep in mind what you're seeking to get out of this interview. So, referring to your research questions and objectives, you should understand that the whole point of this data collection was to find out their challenges. So, pick up all those words that you think is relevant with the research questions and objectives. And if you feel like some of the statements have no link or no relevance with your study, so there's no need to actually code them. Just keep in mind your research questions and objectives, and then code the relevant material from the respondent's answer. This was step one. Now, step two is, now suppose it was just one paragraph. In your case, there's a lot of possibility that you will get too many codes. But let me also remind you that because it's not possible that, for example, when you're taking or conducting 15 to 20 interviews, there's a very limited chance that every 20 member says something entirely different from the other person. So there is a lot of possibility that same answers could be repeated. So in that case, just do the coding at once. So if you feel like the experience has been mentioned once, so there's no need to mention it again. So you have to keep a check with your research questions objectives, and then also you should keep a check between not repeating any code. So even if you repeat and later on you realize, you can remove that very easily. There's no issue. Okay, now once you're done with the coding, then it's the time to develop theme. So here in the theme, let's talk about the strong interpersonal skills. So can we, categorize the building trusted relationships, creating friendly environment? Can we consider all of them interpersonal skills? I personally feel yes. Why? Because even communication is part of the interpersonal skill. So either name your one of your themes communication, or you can call it interpersonal skills. So this will be one of the themes that you have identified. The sub themes that it will include will be first of all, ability to create friendly environment. Then we have building trusted relationship, and so on. So for example, the same communication on interpersonal skills will have these codes within itself. So this is generated from where? From these codes. Then we have also this is slightly I would say, I'm not sure, maybe even experience would come under interpersonal skills, but I'm not sure. So if it's not, then you have to make it another theme. So you can call it, this time you can call it professionalism. Let's call it like this. So this will be another theme. So this one will include experience, because experience definitely is one of the main or sub themes or sub points of a good professional career. Okay, then let's see if there's anything else. High quality services, let's call it high quality services. Okay, that's it. So as you can see from these amount of or these number of codes, I developed two themes for this. So suppose this was based on the data that I have actually displayed on this Word file. But suppose in your case, if you're talking about challenges, so if any codes is relevant with the security thing, so overall one of your themes will be security. Or for example, if you think that one of the themes or some of the codes are referring to the patriarchy culture, I told you that patriarchy culture basically means martsolori, right? So if the society is like that, and if too many of your codes are relevant to this particular theme, then you have to develop another theme known as patriarchy culture, or any other main oriented, or any other words that you best can describe those whole themes. So this was the themes development. So as you can see from that particular paragraph, sorry, from that particular paragraph, I developed two themes, and then every theme has their own codes, which are called sub themes. Fine. Then we have the next step, that is themes reliability. Let me underline it so that you can differentiate it. So themes reliability and validity, I did tell you that even within qualitative research, we do have reliability and validity, but the huge difference is that we do not run any kind of statistical measures, because the data is in the form of narrative or words, so we cannot run any statistical models over here. So all you have to do is uh, convince the readers about trustability, and or you can also say that, yeah, convince the readers about trustworthiness of your coding and themes development, or lack of unbiasedness. Okay, so what does it mean? That means that you have to convince the readers that, wait, you have to convince the readers that the coding and also the themes development process has been really, I would say, very trustworthy, and also you have not been biased into referring to anyone's or changing anyone's words. So for that, what you can do is, in this paper it particularly talks about that for the data reliability and validity you have to involve an external researcher. But in your case, when you guys are already doing group work, so then you can say that all the group members did the coding and thematic or themes development process individually, and then after matching the whole codes and themes development, they agreed on one particular any kind of themes development that was matching almost all of you guys, and the result of all of you guys, then that's how you can actually convince the readers about its reliability and validity. So then for the reference, you can easily take a reference from the paper that I'm going to send you, and that's how you can ensure the reliability and validity. Then we have data display. Now, the data display, as the name suggests, now is the time that you need to display what kind of data you have your data. So this is particularly very interesting. I would say that totally depends on your creativity. So here, this is also known as conceptual model development. So you can use, for example, here let's play some with our data. So here I would do something like this, and then I would say motives of working hard. So this was the suppose this was one of the research questions to find out the motive, or instead of writing working hard, you can simply say motive of, or motives for or you can also call it motivation behind work. So here you can use another one. Here you can place, what was it, the first thing that we did? It was communication. So then, okay. Okay, so when we have communication, within communication, how many did we have? We can simply use these arrows, for example, and then you can play with all these figures and then display how your data is basically like. So I remember within this, I think we described, first of all, let's call it ability to create friendly environment. Let's do it slightly like this, and so on. So whatever number of themes that you have developed, you can actually display it like this. So then it totally depends on your own creativity, how you can display your data. Some people prefer to just generate a table. So by table, I'm referring to like this. Let me show you. You can simply, for example, write like this. You can say themes, or you can say sub-themes, then general themes, or in fact, let's just do it like this: codes, sub-themes, and then general themes. So what were the codes? The codes are, you can refer to your own research, your own data analysis. Here the codes are, suppose for every, particularly for every theme, you have to separately mention. So this is the number of codes, and then Suppose you want to write it like this. Yeah, so either call it sub-themes. I think this one would be extra, so let's delete this. So these themes codes could also be called sub-themes, and then this one would be general themes. So this is how you do it, and people will understand that, okay, based on these particular codes you have generated a general theme. Now it's up to you if you want to display it like this or you want to display it with these figures. It's totally up to your own creativity. There's no restriction in that order. So this was about data display. Then we have the data drawing and conclusion. So as the name suggests, now is the time to discuss your results. So in the discussion part, what you do is you need to basically relate your research findings, also called general themes, with other research papers. So here you can say that, for example, the research finding in the study is that communication is one of the major themes and playing as the motivation behind work or workplace motivation. Yeah, there's a better word for this, workplace motivation, let's call it motivation. So then you can say that behind workplace motivation, communication is one of the major themes that plays an important part. And then you can link it with other research papers, and you can simply just give the reference of those papers. Besides, suppose this one paragraph is very interesting and you feel like this paragraph needs to be mentioned as it is, and even though you have done the coding, thematic analysis, etc., but even then you want to basically refer to the exact words of your respondent. So in that case you can use it just like this. Here you have to come that, and you can write like um, communication and professionalism play important or crucial part in the workplace motivation. Uh, as one of the respondents, uh, stated that, like this, or you can place a comma. Now indent your paragraph. Now what you have to do is you have to write it in italic, and then okay, please wait a minute. So here we uh, copy this and then paste it as plain text. So here this is indented, and by mistake I have underlined it. You're not supposed to underline it. You have to write it in italic and within double quotation marks. So whoever reads this part of your analysis will understand that this is the exact words of the respondent, and it's not important for you to write the name of the respondent because that's part of the confidentiality of information in research. So instead you can simply write one of the respondents, that's it. Nobody is interested in who the respondent is, but everyone is interested in what the respondent says. So as long as you provide the exact word of that respondent, then everything is good. So these were some of the points. Let me go back and repeat, even though you can um, watch it again and again if you want. So the data reduction part is all about coding. Like I told you, when you're doing the coding, this is basically the base point of doing your thematic analysis. So make sure that whatever codes you're generating should be in relevance with your research questions and objectives. So if you think like some of the parts of the interviewee's answer is of no relevance to your study, so then you can simply ignore it and just focus on those parts that you can feel like will explain research questions and objectives of the study. Then we have themes development. This is the second step, which is done based on the coding. So whatever codes which are similar to each other, you have to place them under one theme. So whatever characteristics or whatever codes, like you can also see the ability to create friendly environment, building trusted relationship, this all has to do something with communication. So then we developed one theme for this for these particular sorry, for this particular codes, and then we named it as one theme. So danger husaf, there's just a few codes, but then if you're actually running it on your own study, so then of course there will be too many codes, and then you can have more themes depending on the nature of your study and responses. Okay, then we have themes reliability and validity. As I had also told you in lecture, that for qualitative study, all you have to do is just to convince the readers that they can trust your data and that you have not been biased in analyzing those data. So all you have to do is tell the readers that, okay, because you guys were working in groups, so it was easier for you guys to actually code and do the thematic analysis of the responses individually, and then at the end you matched your results, and whatever that all three or all two of you agreed on, you basically develop themes on those particular codes. Okay, then we have data display. I told you that data display is either done in the form of these tables and either in the form of these graphs. So if you want to use both of them, that's also fine. There's no restriction on that part. Then we have data drawing and conclusion. So in the data drawing and conclusion, you're basically discussing your results, and kind of you're concluding your own your entire chapter, or I would say not concluding, you're basically discussing the results, and also if you would like to refer to the exact words of some respondent, so just indent your paragraph, make it italic, and then put double quotation marks on both sides, and then you can safely use that part of your data just to show the readers that these were some of the exact words of your respondents. So that's it. This is all about analysis of qualitative data known as thematic analysis. So I hope it's clear for you guys. I'm going to attach the this research paper that I mentioned for you guys to actually take help for and take the references. And if you would like to read it, that's also up to you. But then I would not recommend you to read all that paper, because then it will get very tricky. So if you basically understand this video, then I think that's more than enough, because you guys are undergraduate students, so nobody is expecting an extremely tough procedure of doing the thematic analysis. So if you think like these 5 steps were clear enough, so then there's no need to read that paper. Just read it for getting some sort of references in order to support your whole argument. So that's it. I hope it's helpful. If you have any questions, you can always visit university. So take care and Allah Hafiz.